Right now, I think I automate 40% of those things that I used to do with AIs, whether it is report writing or even just drafting the emails. I send weekly or daily emails to my clients about the progress that we have made. It used to be that I'm writing every day, hey, dash, we did dash, dash, dash today, find that as this. I don't have to write that anymore.
People are intentionally making mistakes in spelling just to prove that they are writing it themselves.
I do that too. I got to see Fable's capability that time, and yeah, those two are, even though I didn't get to use Mythos, but the curated version Fable was very capable.
Yeah, even you can see in the benchmark as well. I think it could be, in public because Claude, Anthropic wanted it to be hand of public, but something was off. That's why we didn't get it. And I think the logic was not that strong enough.
I think the reason is I read it somewhere. Fable 5 was able to decrypt some classified information from CIA in like 3 or 4 hours. I think that's why CIA or the government asked Anthropic to close it. 4 years I lived a nightlife. I slept like 9 in the morning and woke up like 3. That's how I spent it. But if I known what I know right now, if I had known back then, I would not have to be awake at night. Because by now I have figured out how I can manage clients.
So whenever you are writing an article and publishing that Deftyled is one of the best agencies in Bangladesh, and you are searching best agency in Bangladesh in AI, that is also pulling that information from your blog.
Yeah. If you are ranking on SEO, you will rank on AI results as well.
Exactly. Hi everyone. Today's episode is really interesting because we are going to talk about marketing, business, lead generation, agency business, AI, and much more. We have Mr. Rifat Ahmed from Bangladesh. He is a successful agency owner working in this field for the past 10 years. We are really excited to talk about many, many different things. He is actually wearing a lot of hats. He is a good marketer himself. He's a writer, and also he is serving some good clients in the US. So we're going to learn more about his journey. So thank you so much for coming to my podcast today. The first thing that I want to know from you is your journey, how you started, and also a small introduction to our viewer about your career and what are the things that you are currently doing and how did you start.
Thank you, Tanmoy, for inviting me today and for this graceful introduction. I'm Rifat Ahmed, and I manage Deftyled, a digital marketing agency that caters to the US local businesses, especially in the Texas and North Carolina region. As far as where I started, my journey is to some it may be a long journey because I have been in the
10 years is a long time.
Yeah, for 10 years. So it started around 2016 when I just recently got admitted into my university. So I started from there. Many people may think it is a perk to be in a university and work, but for me, it was actually a necessity. So I started as this as a necessary thing that would bring some aid to my financial situation there back then and help my education. So that's how I started. And believe it or not, I didn't have a computer before then.
Wow.
So many people find it shocking because nowadays people have computers from like college, their college life or school life. But back then, computers were not that popular. Not necessarily to the rich people or the upper class of the society, but to middle class and lower middle class people, it was not that much popular.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember I started working from a cyber cafe. We used to bill like 25 taka per hour for cyber cafe hours with computers, and I learned my first craft, which was HTML, in those cyber cafes. But when I got admitted, I convinced my father to please buy me a laptop, and I think he was gracious enough to buy me a laptop that was second hand. It was used. I think it costed around 200 US bucks back then. It was not a very powerful machine or a good machine, but it did work. So that's all I needed. So when I got into the university, I had to find ways to make my ends meet because I was not relying on my family that much. So I started working, and many people might think I started as a writer, even though it says in my resume and everything that I started as a writer, but I actually didn't know that I could write. So what happened is someone posted a job on beelanswer.com. It used to be a website. I don't know if you know or not.
No.
It used to be a website like Upwork or Freelancer, but for Bangladeshi clients. So someone posted a job, a lead scraping job. That was a very menial job. And I wrote a beautiful cover letter to that. So when I wrote the cover letter, the client actually thought actually reached out to me and told me, why are you working on this sector? Why are you looking for lead generation job? You should be a writer. So that's how I actually got into writing, even though I didn't intended to be a writer.
I want to add something here. It's very interesting. Now, if you write a very good-looking write-ups and send it to someone,
They're going to think it's AI.
100% times they will find it's AI. Even I heard somewhere that people are intentionally making mistakes in spelling just to prove that they are writing it themselves.
I do that too. I intentionally mess up spellings, in syntax when I'm sending emails to my clients,
Yeah.
because that way I can ensure, I can tell them, no, it's really me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to your story.
Okay, so I applied to that job. They told me, why are you doing this? You should not be doing this. You should be doing writing. And I thought, okay, I have written some copies before. I have written for my magazine, school magazine, before in English. So I thought, so this could be a career for me. So I started writing. So it was, I think I wrote day and night for 6 months straight. For 6 months straight, I wrote and wrote and wrote. And even though sometimes it got tiresome, but at the end of the day I was getting paid, and that was one of my motivators. So that's why I stuck with it. But then tragedy struck upon me and the client. I would not call him a client, the person who found me. I would call him a partner, because by the end of our work relation, he and I grew to be a partner. He was taking clients from the US and getting their contracts, their jobs, and I was the one actually writing the articles. So we were kind of partners, and we actually formed a pseudo company back then. It was called, I think, Niche Solution.
Niche Solution.
Yeah,
Nice name.
yeah. It was way ahead of its time, because by that time, I don't think anyone knew what niche means in 2015,
Yeah.
2016. Yeah. So uh, the reason why I said it was a tragedy for both of us, because after 6 or 7 months of a good working relationship, he actually committed suicide for some
Oh my
personal
God.
stuff. So I was very broken back then, because I was purposeless at that time, and I relied on him to give me the financial aid that I need to carry on my studies.
Yeah.
So that was a big hiccup for my life. I remember uh, the day he died, even before the day he died, we talked like 2-3 hours a day. Oh, interesting enough, I don't know if I told you or not, but our work process was a bit different. For example, right now in my agency, if someone writes me an article, they send to the supervisor reads it, corrects it, and then send it back for correction if needed, and then the supervisor approves the copy. Back then, he was kind of my supervisor, so I used to write the content, send it to him, but instead of correcting it himself, he used to call me in a meeting, and he used to share the screen and correct it, or
Yeah.
update it, not correct it, update it
You
based on the
both read
clients.
it together and just
Yes,
improve it.
improve it. At that time, it was like a big hassle of me. I was thinking, why do I need to be in a 1 hour long meet just to see what I've done wrong? It sound counterproductive, but eventually, down the line, when in 1 or 2 years I became the supervisor myself, I realized how good practice it was. More importantly, I didn't realize it was a cry for help. I realized it late enough that he was actually asking me to spend time with him,
I
because
see.
obviously he was depressed. I didn't know about it, and he could take any opportunity he can to call me on a meeting and talk to me. We made plans like to go to see movies and all that. We make plans to launch products, use websites.
Is he from Bangladesh?
Yes, he's from Bangladesh. Sorry,
Oh, okay, I see.
I didn't clarify it before. Yeah, he's from Bangladesh. He's a Bangladeshi client, not client. He used to be a freelancer like me,
Got
and
it.
he was doing some work for his client, but he's not good at writing, so he hired a writer.
I
So
see.
that's where I came in. So yeah, eventually, when he died, I also, I won't say I got depressed, but I was thrown off my balance. I was thrown off my rhythm. It took me a while, but things got even darker after he died, because I didn't have. I was starting to spend money because I was earning, so I was starting to be a decent spender, but I was not earning anything. And by that time, I had stopped asking for money from my parents. So that's why I got into a hole where I needed work desperately, needed the money desperately, but I didn't have any connections, because the only
Yeah.
connection I have is with him.
Yeah. And you are very young at that time.
Yes,
and
I
in
was very young.
Bangladesh, if you only talk about Bangladesh, no opportunities were that. I
Yes.
mean, people only who were working in corporates,
or tuitions.
Yeah.
At my age, the primary source of income for anyone was tuitions. But I did tuitions in my college life, so I was not doing that again. So I had to find something, and that's when I realized I would do exactly what I was doing, but better. I will be my own supervisor or my own manager and started the agency in like September of 2016. So that's how I started, and my agency started as a writing agency or writing team. Yeah, and one of my mottos were I hire freshers. That was one of my mottos because I truly believe that if I can hire someone who doesn't have any work experience and polish him enough, he might be a good asset to the company. That was my motto back then. It's gonna come back in a relevant question later, but yeah, that was my motto then. But that is not my motto right now. I will tell you eventually why not in our conversation below. So that's how I started Deftyled agency, and from that agency, as I told you, I started as a writing team. My writing team used to take the jobs. I used to write. My writers used to write. I used to proofread them and send them to the clients. Eventually, what happened is I had a client from Singapore, and he was a pretty big company. So he wanted some blogs. So we wrote the blogs and we sent those to him. Eventually, he asked me, Rifat, I need someone to publish them also because he didn't have enough time to publish them. And back then, I didn't have any experience into web development. Even though I knew a lot of HTML, I made some rudimentary websites with raw HTML in my school days or in my college days in the cyber cafes that I was mentioning. But I didn't know how to publish things in WordPress or anything. So what happened is instead of saying no, I don't know that, I just Googled it quickly. And in like 5 minutes, I knew how to publish a blog. And that's how I started taking work for websites. So, and at that point, I used to write things, I used to publish things. The next thing came is design work. I was not a designer as well. But eventually I had to learn with similar opportunities like this. Clients told me, hey Rifat, I want this. Do you have someone? I told them, why do you need someone else? I can do it for you. So I learned it quickly. I used Canva and other tools. I made the design, showed it to them. They liked it, approved it, and it got published. That's how I eventually grew. And as my clients increase, one of my biggest client is an HVAC client, and as his brand increased, I needed full-time team members because at that point I wasn't able to proofread all the content, do all the development work myself. So eventually I hired supervisors for my content writing team, then SEO guys, then their supervisors and developers, and that's how today my agency,
one person became an agency now.
It's now a full team of
many people in many different countries,
exactly,
many different continents of Bangladesh.
I have team members in Philippines. They do virtual assistant work. I have team in India who does a lot of development for me. I have team in Bangladesh, in Sylhet, in Chittagong, in Khulna, in Jashore. I have team basically in every region of Bangladesh.
I just want to know, when did you land your biggest client? I mean, I know which client we're talking about. When did you actually realize that you got that client to do more work? And also, most important part is, people who are doing SEO work or like web development work or writing work, most of the time client doesn't talk to them personally, because as far as I remember, you started with Upwork. So in Upwork or any freelancing places, I don't think you still charge them on Upwork. The client is outside Upwork, right?
No, still an Upwork. I will tell you why if you ask me later in the road.
Now I want to know why.
Okay, so there is a growing concern in Bangladesh that why should I take the money in the legal way where the government is not giving me any incentive or anything. If you didn't know already, in any freelancing work, Upwork work, freelance or Fiverr work, government doesn't give you any incentive. So that is one of the main reasons why people take money out of the channel, out of the legal channels. But I refrained from it because to me it was always doing things by the books. So that's why I stuck to Upwork, even though it takes like 15%, 20%, 10% from me.
It's a lot
for
of money
each
if you calculate.
But let me tell you what it gives me. It gives me a clear documentation of how much I make, and it gives me a clear social status in the society to the tax department that I earn this much, I bring this much in the table, and for that I get some benefits as well. For example, I recently purchased a car, as you know, and I got it financed because of my income from Upwork. I was able to show it to them that these are the the money that I brought it from Upwork
Yeah.
to my account. So they know that I am make X amount of money. That's why they finance the car. But if someone, let's say, who hasn't taken any money into their legal channels, into their own bank account, they might not be able to show it to the government. To them, to the government, he is like a nobody. He's unemployed, for
Yeah.
lack of better words. Even though he has the money, he might have other bank accounts like PreoPay, NSave, other banks outside Bangladesh. But to Bangladesh authorities, Bangladeshi banks, he
He's
is
a
a nobody.
criminal.
Criminal, in a sense, criminal, because he is
He's not giving any tax.
exactly. Even though tax is not the issue, the issue is the liabilities and the documentation.
Yeah.
Even I don't have to pay tax to the government, because by till the year 2027, all
Yeah,
freelancer income or IT based income is out of tax bracket. So I don't have to pay the taxes, but I have to show them that this is the money that I earn.
Hmm.
That is what gave me the social status.
Probably you are one of the very few people I heard this, like from whom I heard this, because most of them are creating course how you can not use
Exactly, I know.
how
I
your
know.
Upwork and bring them outside
I know.
Upwork.
I could do that, yeah, but
It's very easy because I know you have great relationship with them.
yes,
Yeah.
if I tell them, to the extent that I have their credit card numbers, I pay
Yes.
myself on Upwork.
Yeah.
So I literally manage their Upwork account. I pay myself. I have their credit card numbers. If I wanted to, I can take the payment outside.
Yeah.
And even if I take the payment outside, there is a small way that I can. There is a simple way that not simple way. There is a way that I can make that legal, but it requires a lot of documentation. I tried that once with my Singapore clients. So I asked them to send like $100 in my Eastern Bank account. Not to blame the bank, I think it's the Bangladesh bank policy. To get that $100 USD, I think
You
I
need to
had
show the
to,
contract, right?
yeah, I had to show the contract. I even had to show the bank address documentation for my client's bank, not even my bank. I had to show that the client sent me from this bank, and this bank's branch is this one, and the branch address is this one.
This is
I think I have to
pathetic.
send like 40 documents. Why would I do that? Why do I need to do that?
Yeah.
So to me, I would rather give out the 10% to Upwork to avoid this paperwork every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird enough because when I got my first YouTube income, there was someone who were asking me for the contract. I told them this is AdSense money. So yes, still there
Yes.
might be a company. I said the company is Google, and they're still in disbelief that Google. Why would Google pay you?
Pay you, yeah,
YouTube
exactly.
is owned by Google, and Google is paying me because I'm creating content. This is my channel. I have 20,000 subscribers. This is what I do. This is my agency. This is my card. Still, they were like, okay. Then my POC was very good. He understood and he told me that we don't need to do anything. You are even getting. I think I got 1 or 2% incentive from the government, I guess.
Then you are the few lucky ones, because right now you're not going to get if I'm not mistaken, you're not going to get any incentive. On top of that, you might get taxed. Yes.
Yeah.
On that note, yeah, this banking system related to freelancing or IT business is very poor in Bangladesh, as you already know.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. I stopped you in between your stories. So I wanted to know about your first client acquisition stories
Oh, yeah.
from when you started, like in 2016-17. What was the time when you got your second or third client and also got your biggest client? And when did you actually get them to upsell, cross sell? When was that time?
I think I would call myself lucky in the sense that I didn't have a lot of downtime in terms of work. I always had work. So I told you that I bought a laptop and then started working. And some people might find it hard to believe, but I found my first work like in 2 days after I bought my laptop.
Really?
Really, yeah.
How?
Yeah, exactly. I spent like 20 hours every day applying. That's how I got my first job. And the biggest client that I have, I would not say the biggest, it might be my main priority. My priority client is an HVAC group. So the way I got them is through multiple channels. So I was doing some writing work for Upwork, and I was sourcing clients from Upwork. So on Upwork, I found a contract for 2 articles. They would pay like $5 each at that time for a blog. So $10 for 2 blogs for a hiking website. The brand I think was known First Hiker. I don't know if that still exists or not. So I wrote the blogs for them. I was a hiker back then. I hiked a lot. I camped a lot in the country, outside of the country. I had that experience, so it was a relevant dish to me. So I wrote 2 blogs for them, and after that I sent those to him. He liked it and he offered me more work in the writing job. Turns out that person who is the owner of that website is a owner of a website development agency.
I see.
And one of his clients wanted someone to write. So he thought, okay, Rifat writes for me. Let me recommend Rifat to my other client so that Rifat can write for him. So that's how that client got me into touch with the uh, owner of the old HVAC company. So that's how I got into touch with him. And for that HVAC guy, I used to write content. Eventually, I started doing SEO, then handling website stuff. And in 2023, that company was acquired by a major corporation in the US. And that's how I went on to become the IT admin or the digital marketing head of one of the biggest HVAC company in the US.
I know the name of that company. We just
Yeah.
don't want to mention it now. But I think so. You got your biggest break in 2023,
And
3 years back.
2023 was my biggest financial year because I moved to that big company. But I think I got my first break in 2018, 2017. I didn't have to wait along because I had big clients from the beginning. In 2017, I was working with that Singaporean client that I told. So he was a big budget client as well. So I was lucky enough by God's grace to have a steady income and good work since the beginning. So I would say I got my break like 2017.
No, it's not that easy. I know. Still, you work like the most. I mean, you are the hardest worker in every room because I know for a fact. So still, like when we were coming here in the car, you were always checking your phone, seeing who's doing what. I just want to know about a little bit about the work ethic. How did you develop that? Because for a fact that I know that you didn't work for any MNCs or any corporates. So I worked for 5 years almost in corporates. I know the corporate culture, how startup works, how to address people, how to write emails, many different things. I got trained by these people. I had a lot of bosses. You never worked for any corporate. So how did you develop these skills?
I wouldn't call them skills. I would call them, yeah, it could be defined as skills, but
In corporate, like when you are starting, they are the skills they are looking for. Just someone who can talk, someone who can write emails.
yeah, I think writing email was not the biggest issue, but the biggest perk of me to my clients. I think the biggest issue was communication, good communication. That was something I was good with, especially in writing. Luckily, all of my clients were sort of introverted like me, so that's why they didn't do a lot of meetings back then. And
Now they do.
yeah, now they do because I moved into this big corporation. But yeah, they didn't used to do too many meetings, and our conversation used to be done in WhatsApp and in emails. And I was very good at writing emails and
Yeah.
communicating, explaining things, especially explaining things. Some people might find it hard to explain things without recording your screen, but I was from that very early on. I was able to explain in text that people would require videos to explain. So that's, I think, where I won because whatever the case was, I was able to explain it over just an email. So people thought, okay, he is very efficient with communication. So let me just throw the task at him and let him deal with it. So that's how I think client found me, and I think that is my biggest skill is uh, interacting with them with ease and making things clear in one email. I didn't have to go back and forth in multiple emails as well. Some people might be able to write a good email, but he might not clear the message or complete the intention. So he might have to wait for a reply. But in my cases, I used to make sure that when I send an email, client knows exactly what I'm talking about, what are the outcomes, what are the possible solutions. And that's why if you see a couple of my emails recently, you will see I send options. Like client, after my email, I send option 1, we can do this, option 2, we can do that, option 3, we can do that. So the client can just reply with option 3 and I will know what he wants. So that was very efficient for the client's part and my part.
There is a story, interesting story. This is very important. Many people are not efficient with writing. I heard a quote from Elon Musk. Not a quote. I heard him speak about his skills. He said, "I think I'm very good at email. I go to washroom and I write emails to different teams when I'm in the toilet." So people took it very childishly. Elon Musk does that always, but I can understand what he meant about email. I had the chance to work with a few good CEOs, like a CEO of one of the biggest e-commerces of Bangladesh. I saw him also writing very short emails, very short emails, efficient to the point. So he used to write with his iPhone mobile. He used to write a lot of emails, and I joined another team back in 2022. Actually, I was working somewhere and I just got promoted to some other teams. And first few days I did not have any work. They asked me to see the department's work, and I found it really boring. What I did is I went to Udemy and I purchased some professional writing courses, and I finished 8 or 9 courses within like 2 3 days, because I used to watch everything like 1.5x 1.6x. So then I know that how important it is to efficiently communicating with the client. Is there anything else that you think that is working at this moment for you in terms of handling a wide pool of clients?
Before I dive into the question, I want to point out two things that you mentioned, two very important skills that you mentioned. Yeah, always watch videos at 1.56. I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
1x is too slow. I watch all the videos in 1.5 or 2x. I recommend anyone who is watching this, I recommend you do the same. It will change your life. Second thing is always write emails from your washroom. That is something I do as well. I think all of my messenger communication with my team, I do it while I'm in the loo. So these are the two things that I would recommend anyone who is who wants to take this work seriously and want to make every second of their life productive. Now, getting back to your question, yeah, I think there's something else that works well for me, and this is something that I acquired from my family. That is taking work with responsibility. The biggest problem I see with IT workers or remote workers or freelancers lately is that they just want the payment and they just want to get the work done with. With me, what I always try to do is I want to take ownership of that work. So let's say if a client gives me a website work, wants me to build a website, most agency owners would see it like, okay, I will just build the website and get the payment and be done with it. But to me, my goal is to not just make the website for them. My goal is to make sure the website converts. The website gives them calls, gives them leads.
You act them as a consultant for them.
Exactly. I make sure the website that I'm building is converting and giving them sales. And it's not specifically just for the website. Anything that I do, my team does, I want to make sure that it works to the benefit of the client. So that's something I think distinguishes me from others. One example that I will give that I can remember on the top of my head. I recently dealt with an agency in Bangladesh for a website development work, one of our retail clients. So the experience with them was horrible. So that's how I realized that what we are doing is different and why we have a client with such long history.
I just want to know about that, because I am many website companies are reaching out to me for sponsorships, and I created one video for one person, and I did not know a lot about them. I needed the money, so I did the video, and later I got a lot of negative comments, and I was shocked because in my videos, he knows I never got any negative comments. I mean, if I get 1,000 comments, there might be 5 or 10 comments that are bad. But this is the first time I'm getting a lot of negative comments like this website company is bad. And that's the main reason, because after that, one of my ex-colleague wrote a book in marketing, and the landing page he was using from that company. And then when the pixel was broken, or like there are many people in the hosting, it was down, they actually let us wait for 2 days when the ad was running. So a lot of issues. So I just want to know from you.
Yeah, similar experience with me as well. I dealt with Bangladeshi hosting companies and developers. So my particular experience with that developer was they were very messy. For example, you know that if a client wants to do the website, he just needs to talk to me. He doesn't have to deal with the developer, with the SEO, anyone. He just talk to me. With that company that I hired for an outside work, I had to deal like 7 people just for one work. Two of them were I would call project managers. Two of them were developer. Two of them were billing departments, and one of them were designers. I don't need to deal with all of them. Any clients would prefer to deal with just one person instead of a whole team. I think that's why they messed up. And even during the work, they were not as responsive. I don't know why. Maybe they had too much work, and they were not eager to take feedback. Even though the end result was not so bad, but the experience is what stuck with me. It was not a pleasant experience, and I think after like 30 seconds of the website delivery, they asked for me for the payment. That was shocking, because I hadn't given my first round of feedback yet. I understand that they work for money. I work for money too. I would want to get paid for the work I done. But that doesn't mean the second your developer sends the website, even before you take the opinion of the client, you send the bill and I'll force them to pay, even though I paid, because I don't want to make them stick along for the payment. But it seemed odd to me. That was the only time I hired a Bangladeshi team for something, and I would not hire them, or I think
There has never been any issue with the payment, because I know that you pay in the first hour of
Yeah.
first day in the month.
Yes, that's what I aim to be. I aim to pay the first banking day of any month. If the first of every month is a banking day, my company will get the payment, and at that day, no questions asked. That is my goal, because I think that helps people uh, focus on the work more instead of working, or instead of thinking about the payment. A lot of the MNCs, even the big MNCs and local private companies, they have to wait for the payment. They have to wonder when the payment will come. Sometimes it might come within the first
Take
5 days, sometimes in 10 days. So they are not sure.
Yeah.
But I want to give the people who are working with me, give the freedom to focus on their work instead of thinking when the money will come. So all my team members know if the first of the month is the banking day, I will get it that day.
Yeah.
So they are relaxed. They don't worry about the money. They don't have to ask for the money. They don't have to inquire about the money. They just send the bills, and I just pay them first of the month. That helps a lot in the team, I think.
I think there is a story that I want people to know about your how behaving like a consulting agency, or like someone who is uh there not to cut their pocket, or like there to help them achieve their goal. So it helped you. I think there is a story when a political situation arrived and we didn't have internet, and then how you manage the situation. I think it will be really funny and interesting for our viewer to know that how building relationship will give you a lot of benefits in the long run.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about. It was during
2024.
the 2024 the student movement. So
In
it was tough times. Yeah. My team, unfortunately or fortunately, deals with a lot of operational stuff. My data analytics team does a lot of reporting, lot of data logging for my HVAC client. So there is a situation in the data team that my previous executive or supervisor did not take a leave in the last 2 years. The work was that demanding. Eventually, to ease her workload, I gave her two assistants. That helped her a bit. But when the situation in the 2024 came, I was worried that I might lose the client, because they rely on payroll, they rely on incentive bonus, they rely on accounting, a lot of things from our team. And we were offline for I don't know how many days. I think it was 5 or 7 days, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and, at that time I was sad that I might be losing the biggest client that I have, and I was praying to God, do something, make an exception for me that I can reach out to the client and at least let them know. So eventually I bought a ticket to go to India and then work from there. I even bought the ticket, which was non-refundable, so I lost the money that day. But the day I bought the ticket, the next day the regime change took over, and I didn't have to go to India. So thankfully, but the biggest takeaway from the story is I didn't lose the client. And when I reached out to the client, hey, look, this is what happened. They were all very sympathetic, because they knew that if Rifat is not responding, that means something has horribly gone wrong. They didn't think that I was just ignoring them. I was just skipping work, because they know me personally. They know my work ethic. So they truly thought that something has gone horribly wrong. And I told them what happened, and they were very sympathetic. And I didn't lose the contract. I didn't lose the client. That was the biggest gain during that time for me, because if I had
Many of them
many of
actually
the IT
lost their
businesses
work.
lost their clients because they didn't build the relationship at that level that I had. The web development company that I was mentioning, Bangladesh, certainly all of the clients that they had will go out, because the way they handle financial stuff, the way they handle billing was not a good experience. So as a client, I could imagine that any client would try to get any scope to leave them. So that gave them the scope, and I think they lost a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of business do, but luckily I didn't, because they know me and I had built a working relationship with them for years.
I actually have a lot of questions. I'm not sure how much time do we have, but very, very interesting enough that I want to know, from the time you started, when you were writing everything by yourself. Still, you write a lot of stuff, but how the time changed now for the AI, because many expert marketers, many expert agency owners, they talk about AI, and we know for a fact that it's changing. it's changing more rapidly than we think. So how the life has changed after AI now?
I don't want to sugarcoat it, and I don't want to glorify it. But the change that AI has brought to us has been an eye-opening, because the major change that I see in the IT industry is how people hire has changed. I remember when I told you that when I first started the agency Deftyled, I used to hire fresh talent.
Yes.
The reason was, when I hire fresh talent, I can polish them up as I want. I can train them up in my work process. But they were not the best of workers as they're just starting out. What has happened since AI boom is that people are not hiring those fresh minds anymore. Uh, Even for me, let's say the example that I gave you, that I started doing website publishing when a client asked me if you could publish. A client would not look for someone like that right now. They would simply download a plugin and tell them what they want. The plugin will write the content and publish it on the website, and even build the image for them. So that's this is right now. So what has happened is, the simpler jobs, or the person with fewer skills, minimal skills and basic skills are not getting jobs right now, because the clients don't need that level of skills right now, because a simple voice note to any AI would do the work that any fresher would do in like 10 days. So that has changed in the IT industry. People are looking for more experts, because rudimentary work, initial simple work, basic work is being done by AIs. That has affected my work as well. One of my clients, I wouldn't say I lost them, but certainly changed how I interact with them. We used to do SEO for them, but he found some tools, some plugins that he used to do SEO. Even though those are not white hat SEO, we only do white hat. We don't even do the gray stuff. That is most definitely black hat SEO, and he will eventually come back to me, because I know him and I know his website. He will eventually come back to me, because his website is going to get penalized. But yeah, AI has made him more confident that he doesn't need a team right now. So he is doing most of the work with that tool right now. And like this, a lot of the jobs are being affected. People with simpler skills, less complex skills, are not getting jobs. For example, right now, if a person just learns SEO, he might not get a good job, because right now even the agencies are not looking for just someone who just knows SEO. They're looking for someone who might know SEO plus performance marketing, who might know SEO plus, let's say, content writing, on page optimization. So you have to wear many hats at this point. That is the effect of AI right now, that simpler jobs are not to the humans anymore. It's reserved for AIs.
Okay, so I want to understand a day in a life in 2018, 2019, or even 2020, when ChatGPT was not in public, versus now, 2026, we are recording now. So how a day in life changed? How much time you are actually executing, and how much time now you're executing?
uh 2020 2022 sorry 2020 was an interesting year for me. It was around COVID, and that's when the AI boom started to happen, even though it hasn't happened yet. But in 2018, 2019, we were all manual. There was no automation. Some automation with entertaining in like 2021, 2022, but even those were not perfect. So in 2018, 2019, 2022, 2020, we used to do everything manually. By manual, I think every email that we write, every report that we made, it had to be manual. Right now, I automate, I think, 40% of those things that I used to do with AIs. Whether it is report writing or even just drafting the emails, I send weekly or daily emails to my clients about the progress that we have made. It used to be that I'm writing every day, hey dash, we did dash 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 today, find that as this. I don't have to write that anymore. I have set up a small script on OpenClaw, and I just told them to run it every day 6 a.m. in the morning. And every day 6 a.m. in the morning, I have 5 drafts on my email, and all of them are addressed to the specific clients that I want, and addressed to the name that I want it. And I just upload the file and send it to them. So I don't spend time drafting those emails. But that's only for the boring work that I have to do everything. But the complex work, I still take help of AI, but eventually I would have to bend down myself to get it done, because even at this point, I would say some people might not agree. I would say AI is still in its infancy, except for fable and mythos. Those two those two models are out of
Did
the
you
game.
did you get the chance to use it?
Yes. Oh, interesting story. I was building a dashboard for one of my clients,
Okay.
and I think Fable 5 was out for like 20 hours or so before it got
Yeah.
cancelled. And within those 20 hours, I spent, I think, my company's entire budget with Fable 5 fixing one dashboard. And by the time I was done, US government just told Anthropic to close it or kill the model, and they did. But yeah, I was able to fix it. The dashboard, the issue that I was having, I used Opus, Sonnet, everything. They couldn't solve it, but Fable solved it in like half an hour.
I
So,
see.
so I got to see Fable's capability that time, and yeah, those two are. Even though I didn't get to use Mythos, but the curated version Fable was very capable.
Yeah, even you can see in the benchmark as well. I think it could be, in public, because Claude Anthropic wanted it to be in the hand of public, but something was off. That's why we didn't get it. And
I,
I think
I heard
the
in
logic was not that strong enough.
I think the reason is I read it somewhere. Fable 5 was able to decrypt some classified information from CIA in
Ah,
in like 3 or 4 hours. I think that's why CIA or the government asked Anthropic to close it. Yeah, I think that's the reason.
but it could be a good thing for us, people like you
Definitely,
and me.
definitely. But I would not want to people to just dive into Fable, even if it's available right now, because it's still very expensive. The amount of work I can do with ChatGDP, with ChatGDP Pro models, I could do, I think, 1/20th of that work with Fable 5 model. That's how expensive it is. So I would not still recommend people to use it for everyday task. Let it be reserved for the complex tasks only.
Okay. I just want to understand, how do you hire team? Because we actually wanted to talk about this when we were talking offline. How do you hire team? Because this has been the biggest issue for now. Even many big companies, even many small companies, they all have this biggest struggle that they cannot hire good talents, or like even if they hire good talents, if they are good, they will leave. They will always find better jobs because they know that they are capable. If you hire very basic person, like they don't have good English, their comprehension capacity, new learning capacity is not good. So how do you decide that you hire good people? Because most of the people you hired, I know for a fact that they are with you for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Even you had a person
At
from
least.
at least, yeah. What is that hack that you can see in people that most of the time you're hiring did not go wrong?
Okay, so let us break it down to two parts. First of all, how I hire and why do people stick with me. So how I hire is not unlike other companies. I post jobs, I take interviews. The difference, I think, maybe the selection process. For most technical jobs, I usually do some paid work with them, trial paid work. For example, for development work, I always make sure I see them work, and I also pay them for it. That's why they are motivated to do the sample work for me, even though it would take like 1 or 2 days. If I don't pay them, they might not take it so seriously. So that's why I pay them, and that helps them focus on the work and give their best results. And based on that work, the trial work, I usually make my decisions. But eventually, it all boils down to what he can do. Sometimes we will be convinced in the interview as well that he's the guy. And then we would hire them right and there. Sometimes we have to do trial work. So the process is not too dissimilar to others, but I would say some lines that you probably heard and even said yourself, that there aren't good talents enough to hire. So any corporations that you will go to and ask about their hiring policy, they will tell you that we're not getting enough talents. So that is something that I struggle to. Hiring someone, or the process is not difficult. Getting the right people to get to the interview is the difficult part, because especially now after the AI boom, a lot of people write the answers that we ask in the initial screening with AI. Even though we could tell a lot of the times that this is AI written, people are getting smarter. They are prompting AI in a way that make it shorter and make it look like someone wrote it. So when they post those answers to our questions, we have to scratch our head to realize whether it is AI or human written. So that's something that we struggle with to screen good candidates. And another thing is uh, good candidates are very hard to come by, and they demand payments that most companies cannot offer, especially in the writing industry, in the digital marketing agency. People are wearing multiple hats. So if I'm looking for an SEO executive, if he is good, he is also an SEO executive, plus he is a performance marketer, plus he is a content writer. So the chances of him applying to my job just as a SEO executive is less.
He
uh,
would think that I can do it myself and I can find client myself.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
he
the
would
thing.
think that. So yeah, that's how hiring for us. We go through several steps. We do a pre-screening, we do ask some questions, we shortlist from those questions, then we ask for interview, then we shortlist further from interviews, and for technical jobs we then give them a trial work. If they succeed in the trial work, we onboard them. And
Is there
as
any one
Hmm.
single thing that worked for you in this? One single thing that you want to, give
Yeah,
a tips to every agency owners?
do trial work. That is the only way to judge someone. Without trial work, especially for technical jobs like content writing and development, there is no denying the fact that you have to see it yourself to see how they work. Because sometimes when in the portfolio they will put someone else's website, and you cannot go to each 20 clients and verify if the person who claims they build the site is the one who built it.
Mm,
So trial work is the,
ultimate
yeah,
hack.
ultimate hack.
One
And
important, yeah, yeah, please.
and why they stick to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm lovable, or maybe I just pay them on time. That's it.
That could be something. Okay. One important thing that I would like to address, since you are working in US hour. Currently we are sitting in Bangladesh and doing this podcast, but most of the people who are doing work for US client, there is a myth, or there is speculation that if you are working in freelance industry, you need to be at night, you need to be awake at night. So none of your workers are working at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. How did that happen, or like what's the hack, or
I
how much you agree with the fact that it's true that you need to be awake at night?
I would be lying if I said I didn't have to wake up at night. I didn't have to stay awake at night, because I think from 2018 to 2022, 4 years I lived a nightlife. I slept like 9 in the morning and woke up at like 3 in the afternoon. That's how I spent it. But if I known what I know right now, if I had known back then, I would not have to be awake at night, because by now I have figured out how I can manage clients. So US particularly, they have two overlaps with us, in the morning and in the afternoon. If you schedule your sleep from 9, let's say 9 p.m. to 4 p.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, you get two chunks of their days that you can work with. So that's how I initially separated my work.
Hmm.
In 2023, I convinced all my clients to contact me during their daytime and their nighttime, their afternoon. So when it was 9 a.m., 9 p.m. in Bangladesh, it was, I think, 10 a.m. in Central
They
Time.
start their
Yeah,
work.
they start their work, and they do a couple of emails with me. I do a couple of emails with them, and then I go to sleep, and then I wake up like 4 a.m. for Fajr. And by the time I do Fajr, I see a couple of emails from them throughout the day. I respond to them. So to them, I am responding to their emails that same day. I'm not responding to the next day. So that's what I would suggest anyone who is working,
That's a
willing
great
to work.
technique.
Yeah, split your day from sleep from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Yeah, that's it. If you can shorten it, it's better. If you can sleep like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., that's even better. But if you can't, if you need more sleep, 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. would still work. Just let your client know that any emails that I respond to you at that moment, I would respond to you by the end of your day. If the client knows that you are going to respond by that evening, they would not complain that much. But unfortunately, I didn't know back then. I could ask for that, but I know that I can ask them right now. Right now, which I have done. That's how I am sleeping at night and now. Even though I'm waking up pretty early right now, even though I don't need to be that early, but I used to still be early for meetings. I wake up like 4:30 a.m.
That's very commanding. That's
Yeah.
not easy. How did you change it? I mean, it doesn't have to be very very informative. We can actually chit chat about many interesting stuff. How do you manage it? Like how do you get up very early? It's very difficult.
It was very hard because my body was hardwired to sleep after 9. So waking up at 5, staying up till 5 was the easy part, but
Yeah,
waking up
everyone.
at yeah, waking up at 5 was very easy. How I did was I did some research on my own, and I found that if I make myself go sleep with melatonin, and I'm not recommending you take that, but it is an over the counter drug. If you need, you can take that. If you are working professional, if you want to fix your sleep cycle, melatonin can help. What I used to do is I used to take melatonin at 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m., and by 8:39 I would feel sleepy. I would force myself to sleep, and when I woke up at 5 a.m., I would drink like 3 espresso shots at once to keep myself awake. I think I bought 1 carton of Nescafe coffees with 3 espresso shots in each of them. I used to drink like 2 cans, like six espressos a day. That's how I stayed awake. And in like 2 weeks of doing this, forcing my body to sleep at 9 and waking up at 5, I think my body figured out that this is the time I need to go to bed.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Melatonin is like the thing that will help you to sleep.
Yeah, it's not a sleeping drug. It's something that people use for jet lags. If you go to another country and
Time zone.
yeah, time if you mess up the time zone, you can use melatonin to fix up the sleep. But I would not recommend it long term. But if you're doing it for a week or 2 weeks to fix up your sleep schedule, that could be a help.
Okay, now a very technical question. How the market changed the time you started to now? Not the AI. I mean, clients changed. Like, do you think the clients are ready to pay more, or like, do you find better quality? Is it hard or more easier to find clients now?
It's definitely harder to find clients now, but clients are not gone stingy. They are actually becoming more generous, and they want good talent. But the issue, I would not say it is an issue. It is a good thing. The clients are now more confident. That didn't used to be the case in the past. In the past, when a person started a business, he used to be scared whether he would be able to pull it off or not. But right now, even though you told me not to mention the AI, but I have to mention it because business owners are using AI a lot in their daily life. So that has made them more confident that they can pull it off. And for that, they might not hire for smaller things that they used to hire. So that has changed. Market has changed. For small work, the market is, I think, 90% gone. If you look at Fiverr's, I don't know if you how much you look into stocks. If you look at Fiverr's, I think Fiverr's stock dropped like 95% in the last 2-3 years. That's because small gig works have disappeared, because the small gig works that used to exist, like remove background from my picture,
Data entry.
make thumbnail for me, do 50 lead scraping for me, write a blog post. These all can be done with even a free AI tool.
Yeah.
So that's how the market changed. That gig work, even though still a viable source of income, it has become less of a option, but rather a full-time job for gig workers. So there are fewer gig jobs. People are hiring more full-timers, especially big companies. Even smaller companies are looking for full-time workers. So that's how the market has changed.
Is there any tips for people who are living in like India, Nigeria, Bangladesh, or like Sri Lanka, or some countries that is not considered to be, a very developed country, where people give work to just take the benefit of US dollar versus their currency? Is there any tips, 1 or 2 tips that you would like to give to agency owners or someone who is just starting out to work?
Two things that I want to mention is, first of all, build that relationship. Don't just complete the task. Completing the task is, to me, is secondary. Sometimes even I miss deadlines. It happens. When the thing happened in 2024, I missed a lot of deadlines. It happened because, but I was not impacted by it because I had a good relationship with them. So to agency owners, I would recommend, instead of focusing on completing the task, communicate with their clients more and make them feel like they're important. Once they feel that they're important, even if you don't meet the deadline, they would still be okay, because they know you have been investing on that project for a long time and seriously. The second thing that I would do is, don't overcharge. I don't know, I know we are all working for payment. I'm working for payment, even you work for payment. So money is the end goal here. Whatever motivation speaking I do, at the end of the day, you need money, I need money. But treat your clients as a relationship. You have to build it from scratch up. If you are just focusing on getting $100 from him a week, from your client, that might not be sustainable. And I have seen plenty of businesses, plenty of agencies in Bangladesh, Philippines, and in India as well, that they had to stop their operations because they were living hand to mouth. They were focusing, they were based on 2 3 clients, and they have to look for clients every week, and eventually that client pool will dry. You will not get new clients every 2 3 weeks. You have to stick with the clients that you have. If you have to make it, yeah, if you have to make it a sustainable business, you have to retain a good relationship with the clients. You cannot rely on getting clients every week, because you're not going to have new clients every week, unless you are like a genius, like let's say Khalid Farhan. You
Or
won't,
Gary Vaynerchuk.
yeah, you won't get that many clients. So to the new agency owners and the smaller teams, I would say, build a relationship with your clients and make sure they know that they are important to your life.
It's important. I think Alex Hormozy gave an interesting um, tips for people who are starting out and doing their agencies. Fix your accent, Indian people.
No, I would not agree, because accent hardly impacted how I get paid, how I deal with them. Because as you know, I'm not very well spoken, or doesn't have any. I don't have any American accent, or I have a mixed accent. I think one of my
Yes.
clients told me that you have an American, Boston, and Indian mixed accent. The Indian is the majority here, of course, but I don't think my accent impacted me in any negative way in my life, because the clients know that you're from Bangladesh. They expect you to speak English like a Bangladeshi or an Indian. So yeah, that did not affect me as
No,
well.
I think he told that because many of the people are racist, and there is
Okay.
this racist joke. Have you watched Big Bang
Yeah,
Theory?
yeah,
Yeah,
by
Raj.
heart. Raj, yeah.
Yes. So there's this thing, and also in Silicon Valley, Dinesh from Pakistan. So though he didn't have any accent, but he used to make fun of his cousins living in the Karachi. So it's a thing in the US market, that they don't like Indian people that much because they are becoming all the CEOs and stuff. Okay, with all this fan chat, I want to know from you. Many of the marketers are saying SEO is dead. We already talked about it, how it is impacting one of your client. Do you think that SEO is actually going to be dead? And second question is a little bit different. I know for a fact that you did not charge your client for 2 3 months. And when I was making a Bangla video here, I gave this reference. I didn't take your name for retention and client communication. So I want to know about that story. And this is another example of building relationship is. And I know that client will eventually pay you once that client is doing good. So two different questions, but I want the answer.
Okay. SEO is not dead. SEO is evolving, and it will be still be evolving in 10 years.
How many people we have in Deftyled for doing SEO work, including the people who are writing the contents
I
and the
think
supervisor? Five,
I think 12 guys. I think
12.
I have
So
to
they're
count
getting
them. Yeah,
paid every month,
they're getting
right?
paid every month. But I will tell what has changed is how we do SEO. That has changed. In the past, there were a lot of manual work. There are a lot of manual scraping. We had to do competitor analysis by ourselves, just simply browsing and looking at the backlinks. But now we have tools, so that has helped. But industry wide, there has been a shift where SEO is not the traditional SEO that we know. People are moving to answer based engine like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini for answers, and that has impacted a lot because clicks are down for almost every website. uh, for any local businesses, the biggest clicks would come from blogs, and that has dropped because anything that a person would ask, AI would just take the answers from that and answer it in the top of the chat. So they don't have to, people don't have to look into the blogs, go into the blogs. So overall the clicks have down, but that doesn't mean SEO is dead. People are still getting business. SEO is not about driving clicks. SEO is about, it should be about
Showing
getting
up
business
and getting
and showing up
business.
and yeah, getting customers, clients, the business. As long as that is being done with SEO is not dead. And to me, SEO is not dead because all of my clients are still relying SEO for most of their income. So SEO is not dead, but the things have changed. People have been more AI focused, which is a good thing because eventually all the searches will be replaced by AI. So yeah, you can be AI focused, but AI is also a part of SEO. In the recent Google blog, Google specified that AI or AEO or GEO, everything is included inside SEO.
That means, let me just pull that to technical terms. whenever you are writing a article and publishing that Deftyle is one of the best agencies in Bangladesh, and you are searching best agency in Bangladesh in AI, that is also pulling that information from
Exactly.
your blog.
Yeah, if you're ranking on SEO, you will rank on AI results as well. So yeah, SEO is not definitely not dead, but as I've mentioned, some of the manual tasks have been shifted to some tools. But overall, if you are a skilled worker, if you are an expert, SEO is still very much a good industry for you to be in.
Now, the second question about that client.
Okay, so the client, yeah, that client had some personal issues, some personal finance issues. He had taken a big loss. He is a big believer in stocks, and as you know, stocks can sometimes not pay off, which happened in his case, and he lost a lot of money. So what happened is he told me, "Hey Rifat, look, we have been with 4 and 5 years, but I think I have to pull the plug here because I can no longer continue the business because I don't have the money to pay you and sustain the business." Then it hit me. If the only reason he's closing this business is because he cannot pay us, I can help because I have other clients to survive on, and I can help this business to settle in. And once he settle in, since I know him for like 4 or 5 years, I know he's going to pay. So that's what I offered. I told him, don't worry about paying us upfront. Let us do the work for you. Let us set up the business. And once the business is all done, you are getting cash flow, you're getting revenue from your business, you can pay us the due. And he was very thankful for this opportunity, and so was I, because he's been paying my team like for 4 5 5 years. So I was happy too. We both were happy, and now he is doing good in his business, and eventually we'll be getting paid soon.
Perfect. And that's for almost a year, right?
Yes.
Almost a year that you're not charging them.
Not charging him.
Yeah.
But I know the money will come because I know him personally and he knows me personally. He knows how much effort I'm putting into his business, and if his business succeeds, he know I have a major stake in that, and he will eventually pay up and some more.
I get the opportunity to interact with a lot of agency owners from Bangladesh and people living outside Bangladesh. I don't think a fraction of 1% of people will ever try to do that.
I know.
Yeah. So they will think, okay, do contact us when you can. We are always here for
Exactly.
you. They'll sugarcoat and do a lot of things, but they will not try to solve his problem, what he's doing. I heard a very big entrepreneur, I'm not going to take his name because he's very well known. He used to hire in a way that he used to try to pick people who are very good at their work and currently probably in some financial condition. He used to pay off their loans or somehow give them some opportunity to shape and do well in their life, and then he used to hire them for his company. And that's a great technique, because if you can solve their life's biggest challenge, he will be so loyal to them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that happens with my clients as well. This is just one example that I saw. In the past, I have done several of other things as well. I think for one of my clients, I think I helped tutor his kid in mathematics because he knew I was a mathematics graduate.
Really?
Yeah, I did the two free of cost, and that turned into one of the biggest gig that I have right now. The HVAC client that I was talking about, I tutored his son, the previous owner, his son, for like a month.
Is it Andrew?
No, Andrew is the recent owner of the big
I see.
agency. It's from the GLA owner.
I see.
The way I got into TCB. Yeah.
Okay. So about the GLA, I want to understand. Okay, we didn't talk about the most important part that would be viral from this podcast or this small interview. So we talked about many things. You have a good business, you are serving good clients, but I want to know in numbers, what are your achievements? Like how these people are paying, relationship, everything is good, but are they getting business? I know for a fact that they are getting good business. They got good business because I got the monthly KPI sheet and I went back to see what they were doing and what they are doing. So let's talk about that for some of the business, keeping their privacy and what we can share.
Yeah. Fortunately for me, all of my clients have been doing well since we took them over. And specifically the GLA case that I was mentioning, I think they started with like just 2% team. And
Really?
Yeah, just 2%
GLA
team.
was a 2%
2% team, and I have been with them since the beginning.
I see.
And now you saw how big it is.
They are very big.
So yeah, in terms of numbers, I could tell you that we grew their revenue in like 3 times in 2020, 2021, and 4 times in 2023. Those are all true. I increased their clicks by 600 times last year. But the biggest achievement I would say in this case would be Corona happened, COVID happened, and not a single person was laid off in GLA. That was the biggest achievement for me because I was able to get them enough business even in that recession that the owner did not have to fire a single person. So to me, this is the biggest metric that I can show off, that I can tell people that my business are doing good. That even when all the companies were laying their people off, my clients had their whole staff fully paid. That's how well they were doing at that time.
Very interesting. Let's talk about some other businesses as well. Like uh, how much did you grow other businesses as well that you can share
Yeah.
with keeping their privacy?
Another the biggest client that I have, the major client that I have. When I started with them, they only had 2 offices. Now they have, I think, 7 offices,
Yeah,
and in several cities. So they have
in
expanded several
Texas,
folds. Yes, in Texas, in North Carolina, and
in
now they are
Houston.
getting their hands on Arizona state. So they are expanding several times a year. So yeah.
So
And
it's a little bit, I mean, I want to step in and talk about it because it's not Amazon, like you can grow very fast. These are all local service
yes, these
businesses.
are all local
It's very
service.
difficult. The money is going to come steadily, but it's not like it's not like the stock market that you invested this amount, or like gambling that you will grow in like 1 year. So that's, I would say, good job done. Now what's your plan expanding this business, and how do you want to expand your business, or like do you want to continue with the current one? What are your plans? Or like, if I come to you as a client and I want, okay, we heard good things about you and your team is solid, there are many things that I want to hear, that your team is from all over Bangladesh, remote Indian. I want to know the funny stories about that as well. But if a business owner comes to you and ask you for marketing services, SEO services, so how would you serve them, or like what are the criteria do you have?
First of all, I hope the business that are coming to us have nothing built, because I like to start businesses off the ground. But even if they have their website, their basic SEO done, we can take it from there. The biggest pro I would say hiring me or my team is we are a full fledged marketing team. So from building your website to creating your GBP to doing SEO for your website, writing content for your website, managing operations, logistics, accounting, everything. We have person for everything in my team, so that once you hire us, you don't have to look to anyone else. You can just have one person in the channel and have him do all the things. So that's how most of my clients do. If a new business comes to me, if a new client comes to me, I will just ask for their website. I will audit them first. In most cases, we have to change the website a bit, because that's the biggest place where the money is leaking for them. We have to fix their website first. Once the website is fixed, we have to fix the copy. Then once the copy is fixed, then we focus on SEO.
High converting coffee.
Yeah, yeah, I can.
It's very important.
Yeah, some people are in a rush. They will come to me, say, Rifat, yeah, this is my website. I need to do SEO first. I need to take sales first. But I tell them
Consulting
SEO.
approach.
Yeah, I tell them SEO is not your biggest issue. Your biggest issue is your website. You have to first fix it so that SEO can help. If your website is built in a way that SEO cannot help, no matter how much you spend on guest post or backlink, your website is not going to convert. So that's what I think separates me and my team from others. While others, if they come to you for SEO service, they will simply offer SEO services. I would say no, you don't need SEO services for now. You just need website rebuilt or website fixed. Once it is fixed, I can have my SEO team look it over and tell you what exactly you need to do. So
Very
that's
interesting.
that's what my clients will get. They will get a full experience from consultation on the website to operations, everything.
Now, what are the companies that you can serve very confidently? Like, just for example, I am very good at e-commerce and also service. So you also have some industries where you are very good at. So if someone wants to contact you after this podcast, after hearing this clip, so what are the criteria do they have? Like, which type of businesses you will be interested to serve and actually get your marketer self going?
Luckily, I had experience managing all sorts of niches in my life. In the past, I managed e-commerce website, I managed home remodeling. I'm
GAL is kind of a service and e-commerce both.
Yeah, both. Then HVAC is right now my biggest niche. I did some roofing websites as well. So I think these are the ones that I feel most confident about: HVAC, roofing, remodeling. These are the ones that I've worked in the past. My biggest client right now is HVAC, which is a local business, local service business. So any local service business I would know by now. I know how the GBP helps them. I know where to put the reviews on the website. I know what schema to use. I know how to I wouldn't say manipulate, but I know how to convince AI to mention your business when people search for your niche. So I think local service businesses is something where I would shine and my team would shine.
Very interesting. I think we are almost in the end of it, but I want to discuss some more topics, like people who are watching you from non-US background, people who are not currently living in the US, or like England or some first world country. They oftentimes feel that it's very hard to and difficult to deal with people living in the first world country. But we worked and we saw that it's not difficult, and they were like us, but they have a few tricks, few traits that they want to see from people they are working on. We talked about the relationship part, but still a few tips for some agency owner and some people. What are the things they like? Just for example, they most of the time use Teams, and also some most of the time they will try to find out someone who is good at Slack or like emails. Other than, like, if you are getting Bangladeshi clients, they will be in WhatsApp all the time. They are very informal, but they are most of them informal. If there is any campaign notification coming, any announcement coming, they would rather talk to you in the email other than just calling you directly informally. So do you want to share some of the things that someone who is starting out
Yeah.
can be benefited from?
First of all, to anyone who is starting out, whether you are based in Bangladesh or India or Nigeria or whatever country that you think should not be at the same status as US, stop thinking that. You have to first eliminate your inferiority complex. That's the biggest issue. A lot of the people in Bangladesh and in neighboring countries, they start with sir. Sir is a good thing. In the US, sir is a polite thing to say. So I do not see any harm in that. But just because he's your client, you don't have to make him your boss. That's the biggest issue that I see. People make their clients their boss. They're not your boss. They can be your partner. They can be a business partner. Treat them as your business partner, your client. Yeah, obviously, treat them with respect. I'm not saying you to call him, hey buddy, what's up? Not necessarily.
If you have a relationship, then you can do that. Only they allow.
I do that too. My clients call me buddy. I call them buddy as well. But you have to get to that point. But when you start, you don't have to be so inferior to them. Don't feel inferior to them. They are just human beings. Yeah, they are in a better country, but you are not a bad human being at all, because they hired you, because you know the work. That means they value you. The moment you start to see yourself as an inferior, they stop valuing you as well.
Yeah.
So you have to put up so that they can value you and they know that you are worth, because that's why they were hired you. So don't feel inferior. Be confident. That's the first thing that I will say. Second thing is,
I mean, you need to be top 1% of your country.
Exactly. And you are top 1% of the country. That's why they hired you.
Yes.
The reason you landed that agency call with your client is because you are good at it.
Yes.
If you are not good at it, you will not land that call. The reason you landed the call because you are good at it, and feel good about it and be confident. And the second thing is, be a bit formal and be organized. I would not say formal, but organized. The majority of the agency owners who deal with Bangladeshi clients, what they do, they communicate in WhatsApp, as you have mentioned. But WhatsApp is not organized, as you already know.
It's not a formal channel.
Not a formal channel to communicate with. But with US clients, you have to be formal. You have to be organized. You have to keep tracks of KPIs. That is something that Bangladeshi clients may not want, but for US clients, it's a must. You have to know your client. You have to know what they want. Some of my clients just want sales. They don't want to see any clicks, anything. Some of my clients want to see the full picture. How many leads I got, how many of them were converted into an appointment, how many of those appointment convert it into an install job. So they want to see the whole picture. So you have to understand what your client is. If your client wants the whole picture, you have to be able to use the tools to give him the whole picture, whether it is with Google Sheet or in dashboard or via Slack or whatever. If your client wants to meet with you virtually, you have to be comfortable using Teams or Google Meet. If your client is comfortable in email, you have to be very good at communicating in email. So you have to understand your client, their requirement, and most importantly, I've mentioned it already, you have to keep tracks of numbers. Because US clients are very specific. They want the numbers to
Very
look good.
brutal, I would say.
Yes, and they want to know how much they're spending and where the money is going. They want to track their money, and you have to be able to show them that this is where I've spent the money, and this is what I have brought you with that money. If you're unable to do that, you might not get to stick with them for a long time.
I have a client, and I had a client actually. I'm still not working with him. He's traveling for 6 months. So that guy was doing very interesting thing. It's a e-commerce client. He was running a D2C business. The company name is the Coffee Mug Berlin. So what he does is he collect these collectible cups from Starbucks all over the world, and then it's a collectible business, and he makes a good sales from each one of the cups. It's $40, sorry, €40, €50, €60 for one cup, and it's a collectible cup. It's like people collect stamps,
Yes.
Harry Potter books. It's like that. কি অবস্থা ফারহান ভাই? Okay, 5 to start. So people collect collectibles and many different things. So it's like that. And I'm just talking about the relationship part. So we used to do the Google Ads part. I had an intern. He used to do the Google Ads part. I used to only do the communication with him and the reporting. So the problem with my intern, I'm sure he's not going to see that. He might feel bad. He was just doing the work, and he was explaining in big text. So Leo, his name is Leo. He's 45, 46. He texted me and said, I don't understand this. What I did is, then Claude was it's a few months ago. I used to take those big things, and I used to ask Claude to make dashboard, interactive dashboard with HTML, so that I can just run it. I used to make the dashboard. I used to click that, and I made an automated thing. And then I used to just take a screenshot and say, okay, last month this happened, that happened. And then when he got the credit, Google Ads give free credit if you spend a particular amount. So he thought, okay, why did we spend $600 this month, €600 this month? Then I explained him, since we did that, Google gave us €600 back, and we
So
can,
we spend that.
€300 back.
Okay.
We can spend that, and you are actually winning. Then he was very happy, and he sent us gifts and stuff. So the point is, it was that relationship part, and he brought a Range Rover with that money. And he actually told one of our partners, his name is Uday, he also came to this studio. He's a Shopify developer living in Berlin. So he also told it that this business paid this, and we had a small contribution on that. So it felt very good. Yes, for people living in outside country, you have to show them that you are top 1% of them, and you have to call them with their name. You have to be respectful. You have to make joke. That guy was a German guy. I used to make joke of that song Cherry Cherry Lady.
Yes.
It was a German song. So yeah, they were fan of that brand because he's in 40s. Okay, last, what do you think Deftyled will do after 5 years? What's your thing? Because the world is changing so rapidly.
Hopefully in 5 years we are still doing business with the current clients and new clients as well. When I think of growth with Deftyled, I just don't think growth of myself or my team. I think my clients should be growing as well. So for Deftyled's growth, I think in 5 years Deftyled should grow 5x or more, and for my clients they should grow 50x or more. That's my goal. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, and get my clients to reach where they want to be, and eventually make my team reach where they want to be.
Perfect. So that being said, I think it's a very positive note that we can end this podcast here. And if you want any part 2 or part 3, part 4 of, if we go to an individual stuff, that what's the first step of client hunting, what's the first step of actually fixing a website or like setting personal assistant, then you can comment us in the YouTube or like wherever you are watching this. Yes. Any ending notes?
No, thank you, Tanmoy, for having this chat with me. It was very unique experience for me. As you know, I do most of the things on the background. I do a lot of writing stuff. You have brought me out of my shell, for lack of better terms. Thanks for this.